Portugal and Lithuania, not necessarily the most well-established darts-playing nations, but my word, they've got a couple of well-established players nowadays. So established, in fact, that the Portuguese man of scores, the special one, Jose de Sousa, somebody's brought a life-size cardboard cutout of him that they're waving around down the front there. Where can you get one of those, and how much do you want for it? However, Darius Labanauskas was very, very good in beating Mervyn King on this streaming board yesterday. A 6-4 winner against last year's runner-up, a 99.24 average. It was a better display statistically than the one that Jose put in on the main stage against Evan Peterson. If they perform as they did yesterday, then maybe we could see the #1 seed, the former Grand Slam champion, and the world #8, Jose de Sousa. Well, #7 actually, I think now. I'll check that for you. But one of the top 10 players in the world knocked out in just the second round. It's our final game of the afternoon session with Jose de Sousa and Darius Labanauskas.
Of course, the #1 seed is going to be the favourite for this game, but at no point can you discount Lucky D, him and his ginormous darts case.
Yeah, that is big, isn't it?
To throw first. Game on.
It's gone from, it's in the sort of weird intermittent zone between large dart case and small suitcase.
100.
It needs a handle or wheels. Now,
it may have them.
There is an idea. A darts case with wheels.
Don't give Peter right ideas.
140.
Well, you were talking about that cardboard cutout. I was given a massive compliment this week by another dart player by the name of Scott Williams, who put my face on a pair of socks.
93.
Yes, I've been made aware. Is this a line of merchandise that you're looking to exploit over the coming months?
Not at all.
140.
It's not often you see a dart player from a town called Boston who likes to wear colourful socks. I mentioned that they should be red, of course, because of the baseball team, but he likes them to be yellow, and homage to me mentioning that, he put my face on a pair
92.
of them, which I thought was a big compliment. But cardboard cutouts of players, I think they'd be very popular.
Well, we've already discussed how hard it is to get down to the line head. I mean, if you're travelling down any great distance with a life-size cardboard cutout of Jose de Sousa, then fair play to you. Props to you. It takes some organisation. Jose has left himself 1-2-1, but Darius...
140.
He was very good at that against Mervyn King, about putting pressure on when Merv was on finishes. And the pressure tells a little bit, because Jose will go 25 or bull first start for the 1-2-1 more often than not.
Darius, you
and he's missed it by quite a distance. Ugh, 25 and bull now. Okay.
Nothing has gone right there.
No.
36. Jose, you require 80.
2 double tops?
I don't even know.
I've no idea.
Maybe he's just going 2 big 20s.
Game
It works. It doesn't matter. You do what you want, Jose. Genuinely don't know whether he's going for tops or treble 20. No idea.
I'm not even sure he knew.
No.
He hasn't done that 3 double tops thing since the Premier League, has he?
He hasn't pulled it off. He's attempted
81.
it. When was he playing? I think he was playing in Amsterdam, and he attempted it. Don't think the commentators made mention of it or even noticed.
It's one of the highlights of the year.
60.
Absolutely.
I mean,
oh, no, I think maybe it was the Grand Slam. Yeah, I think it was the Grand Slam. He attempted it, and nobody really paid any attention to it.
The reaction of Nathan Aspinall when he hit it is one of my everlasting memories of 2021.
Absolutely magnificent. Well, if Jose de Sousa can get back to doing Jose things, which is basically hitting bucket loads of 180s, and maybe chucking in the odd miscount, then we're in for an entertaining game here. Because while they've got similar demeanours, these two, in that Jose, the only sort of interaction Jose has with the fans and the cameras and everything, it feels like a sort of an afterthought, like he's been told to go and do a celebration or play up to the cameras or whatever. You get the feeling you just carry on just trudging around, smashing in 120 averages without any sort of reaction otherwise. But
96.
whereas we talked about
Jose, you
Darius
require
being such a
117.
grinder, such a sort of consistent performer, Jose is capable of stuff that other people will never, ever do.
99.
Ever. Like the ridiculous 127 average that he produced earlier on this year.
That should never be forgotten, because when I first saw that come through in that game, I thought it was a mistake.
100. Jose, you require 18.
It wasn't. It's the average of the year.
No score.
Oh, that was way out of the cannon.
Darius, you require 105.
Well, not only has he decided to leave double nine, but then he's missed it by quite a distance. I assume
85.
he knew
Jose,
he
you
wanted double
require
nine,
18.
right?
No, he was very much aware of it.
You can still see the mark. I mean, that's quite a
In
long
from
way
the second
into the double
leg.
12.
Jose de Sousa.
And you're never sure,
Select Darius
are
to
you?
throw first.
We have seen a few odd darts in the last, say, 27 hours on this board. But, yeah, you can see the puncture wound in that double 12.
100.
That's probably a good inch and a half away from its intended target.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with Jose, because strange things do happen when that man is on the
100.
hockey. It does cast doubt, even on seemingly obvious things that are happening, about whether whether it was intended or not. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, shall we? He's certainly 2-0 up in this one.
60.
That's the main headline to take from the opening couple of legs. Oh, yeah.
Just knew it was coming. And they haven't been as frequent since the end of the Premier League. That is a fact. But when you look at the year as a whole, he has been Mr. 180.
Absolutely. You know, he's #1 seed here. He's been smashing in records left, right and centre in terms of 180s on the Pro Tour, 180s in the Premier League. He may not have a major title to his name anymore, but he's been picking up
Darius, you
titles.
require 161.
And if he can just get out of this little 2-month dullish spell, Jose de Sousa could not just win a world title or win this, he could annihilate people and smash more
99.
records on the way to those
Jose, you
titles.
require
We've
81.
seen him do it.
Double 12, Jose.
You've hit it once.
Oh, what on earth? I think that
Darius,
proves
you require
why he
62.
missed it by such a margin
It's
the
got
last
to be
time he was in
cold
that
hands,
region.
hasn't it? It's got to be. His hand has gone straight into his pocket. I don't know if he's got something to warm his hands up there, but it has to be.
Never phased, Labanauskas.
46.
But misses.
Jose, you require 15.
If his hands are cold, this single is no guarantee. Just
Nearly.
inside. Double 2.
13.
All just a little bit ragged.
Darius, you require 16.
Well, it's only his second dart at double in the match, Darius Labanauskas.
Game
Pins
shot
it.
on the third leg. Darius Labanauskas.
So solid.
Fourth leg,
See his
Jose
face
to
there,
throw
Dan?
He's nearly smiling there.
He
hasn't
almost smiled. It was as if a guy had opened a package on Christmas morning and he got a set of Darius's darts for
100.
Christmas.
Oh.
You don't see a lot of fans at events like this, Dan, where they dress as a dart player. I don't think people do that enough.
85.
Get someone who dresses up like the Sousa, or comes as an old school dart player dressed as, I don't know, Marshall James or something.
Oh,
from
well, I
back
don't know.
in the mid-90s.
I don't know about you. I mean,
60.
obviously I'm working at most darts events, but I certainly enjoy myself at Halloween. And this year I did go as sexy Darius Labanauskas. That was my Halloween outfit of choice.
Is that true? I wouldn't put it past you. I've seen some of your trick-or-treat in the
85.
past.
Trick-or-treating around Birmingham in that, let me tell you, my man. It was a mixed reception. Those that loved it truly did. Oh, this looks good. I know he's obviously struggling with the temperature. He must be to get those wild darts, but Around that treble 20, he's looking pretty good. No slouch, Darius, though. That's his second.
180.
You're never going to hear him whinge about anything. Labanauskas just gets on with stuff. He's got an excuse book that has no pages in it.
85. Darius, you require 151.
Ooh, close. For a second, a microsecond, he thought it might have just snuck into the bottom right corner.
He so wanted it to be in, didn't he? Had a look. Okay. Oh, no, it's not
93.
in. Is
Jose,
it
you
in?
require 76.
No, it's not, Darius. No matter how many times you ask. 61 left. What are you going to do, Jose? He's going to go 25, isn't he?
Probably treble 13, double 6.
What's
And
going
it'll still
on?
be wrong.
Oh,
He's done it right.
Ball, not tops.
51.
Look, I mean, look, the maths was fine.
Darius, you require 58.
I smell a chance for Darius. Oh, he needs double 15. We're seeing more facial expressions from Darius Labanauskas in this game than we've seen in his entire career.
28.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Jose, you require 25.
Two eights.
Games
And he is
on
in
the
front by
fourth
2
leg.
legs to
Jose
1.
to Sousa.
But he won't be happy with the performance so far.
Yeah, strange, wasn't it? He's looked very good in spells, but then there's just odd little moments, dodgy darts, dodgy visits. And
Fifth leg,
what
Darius
are we
to
checking
throw
here?
first.
Are they not happy with it?
Game
Did the
on.
board just need tidying up or something?
I don't know. We haven't got two players here with aggressive points. They're both using smooth points.
60.
But maybe there was a slight imperfection, or maybe something got displaced, but he wears on top of it.
Yeah, you're not going to get. They're not players who are going to complain for no
44.
reason. They're not going to get the ump and moan about things.
Oh,
these
absolutely
days.
not, no. Well, yesterday, De Sousa took care of Devin Peterson, who has got a lot on his mind going into the World Championship.
100.
He is going to be a seed, and with all due respect, I think all of the non-seeded players want him.
Absolutely, it'll be him and Glenn Durrant that the non-seeded players want to get
100.
stuck into that section of the draw because they're in no kind of form. Yeah. I think Devon, I had a chat with Devon yesterday, looking great, shifted some weight, feeling good, actually came back in that game when it looked like he might
60.
be battered by De Sousa and made a game of it. But until he starts putting together performances and playing like the Devon of 2020, he is going to look like one of the more attractive draws in that top 32.
That is a fact, I'm afraid.
Johnny Clayton is not an attractive draw for anybody. Although, actually, tell a lie, he may be 3-0 up, but it's another 80-odd average for Johnny
100.
Clayton. Like, what's going on?
I don't know.
I mean, look, we keep saying, we keep coming back to it. It is cold. The conditions are not
41.
ideal. It's going to affect some players more than others, but you would think somebody like Johnny Clayton, with just the level that he operates at now, he might have one bad game. It's unlikely he'd have two in a row like that. He was baffled last night after
85.
beating Alan Tabban, wasn't he? He just didn't really know why he played so poorly or how he got away with it.
Yeah, very true. And he did have a lot of fans out there who were very relieved that he's still in the tournament.
58.
Now, here's
Darius, you
Labanauskas going to
require
get within 1.
96.
This is on his darts, so you could really use this, taking it now and not giving the opportunity to De Sousa.
Games
That
on
is
the fifth
brilliant
leg. Darius
From
Labanauskas,
Lithuania's
sixth
best
leg,
professional
Jose
dart
to
player.
first.
Nothing
Game
lucky
on.
about that, D. Everything was distinctly brilliant. But I just want to bring something up quickly, Dan. Obviously, JDS took
57.
out Devin Peterson yesterday. We are scheduled to have 2 South Africans at the World Championship, and we know what's happening in the world right now with COVID and the new variant. And I am entirely selfish when I say this. I really do
81.
hope that Charlie Losper's going to make it, because Charles is a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in a decade, and I really want him to be at Ali Pali. He's a fabulous, fabulous flag bearer for South African darts and has been for a long time.
Well, he's been influential in South African darts, hasn't he? Did he not play quite a significant role in Devon's career himself?
I'm sure he did. He's a copper down in Cape Town and a superb bloke, and if he's got to come over early and he's not able to do it financially, well, I'd love to find a way to help him.
Well, fingers crossed, we shall see. I mean, I think anybody who's had to travel for whatever reason over the last 18 months
60
is quite au fait with all the hoops that have to be jumped through. And fingers crossed that they become fewer and fewer next year, because there is a full Euro Tour calendar as well as World Series stuff, all kinds of things planned for 2022. If you're a PDC TV subscriber, then you'll get to watch the vast majority of it on PDC TV.
This is where you don't want a 180. We get a nice tidy 140. Just lob this one over the top.
140.
And that is picture perfect from Labanauskas.
160. $45.
You have to stay on the 60 there for
Darius,
me.
you require 40.
Well, could have utilised the 25 there, leaves 95. Gets you on a 2-darter, which is still a 2-darter instead of having, say, a 115 with that deflected shot. Doesn't matter anymore because it's 3-3.
Well, let's put it this way: if that was Rob Cross, say, I don't think he would have stayed there. I'd think he'd have looked at the 18s or the 19s, second dart. I mean, if he got a single for one of those, then he'd probably look at the 18s, because if he gets single 18, then you go for the bullseye, because a 25 leaves you 97, a good 2-darter, not a nasty one leaving on double 19 or anything, a good 2-darter. But if you get that treble 18, then what, that takes you down to 80. You can stay there for another that could leave you double 16. That's probably the way he'd go. Using that bullseye, it's such a tactical thing. A lot of players, you see players going for it, and you think, I'm not sure you're getting the benefit by going that way. But sometimes it gives you so many options and increases your likelihood or your opportunities to hit big troubles and score well. That's it. It's not just making it easier for the finish. You're actually increasing your likelihood of scoring big because you go into nice open beds that you haven't blocked. As long as you know you've got the fallback plan of using the 25 to get to more usable, likely finishes.
100.
That's what we like to call elite board management, which is what you get from Cross and Michael Smith. You don't get those silly errors of blocking the 60 twice and failing to leave a 2-darter. Board flexibility 100. Is what I like to call it.
Yeah, you've got, you know, there are millions and millions and millions of ways of getting down from 501 to 0. But why limit yourself to just chucking at treble 20? Because it's going to get harder if you're putting a load of barriers in the middle. Even Sousa, who is one of the best treble 20 hitters that has ever walked the earth.
85.
He might be one of the best players that has played the game, especially in the last 10 years. The one thing he hasn't done yet is play well at Ali Pali.
Yeah, still got to do that. It's another 1 to tick off the list.
Darius, you require 116.
1-1-6 for Darius Labanauskas to take the lead in this match, having been 2-0 and 3-1 down. That's awkward. Couldn't find his way through. Doesn't mind stacking him on top, but it did look like at least that a bit of the flight would be covering a bit of the bed.
You require 102.
Got a little something to say about that actually come the next leg, but it's treble 14 for the attempted tops, doesn't get it.
49.
Labanauskas,
Darius,
who has been behind in this match from the very off, I believe, is looking at the lead for the first time in leg 7. Getting very close. He thought that was in.
No score.
That one's not good. To give the Sousa a bit of a let-off.
Well, he listened to the Paul Nicholson mantra, don't leave it short. You've got that marker. He didn't, but he went sailing past it. Don't leave it short, Jose.
Games from the 7th
Very
leg.
nicely done.
Jose
And he
Sousa.
just keeps his nose in front.
You know, you were talking about the flexible point earlier with Richie Edhouse.
8th leg, Jose
Well,
to throw
There's a
first.
bit of an extension to that discussion with Darius Labanauskas and some others,
Game on.
because he uses a stem that is very flexible. You may see when he's going for 180s or big 171s down south, his stem is very thin and it will bend over
140.
and it will move. Whereas with a De Sousa, he's got a very thick stem. That will not shape itself if it's got a disruptor. You see the little shake of the stem there? It's because it's that thin, it can be
100.
manipulated when it gets closer. And of course, Darius Labanauskas used to use the flexible point himself.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he does have the rigid flight, as a lot of players do now. So there's less give in that, a lot less give than your old-fashioned flights. But perhaps with a little more give in the stem, there might be a little bit more leniency.
The main reason why players are
140.
going towards the moulded flight these days is because of the perfect right angles. It's perfect logistics.
They hold
from
the shape,
hand
don't they?
to board. They hold
92.
exact crisscross, whereas some of the folded flights don't.
Yeah, and of course the folded flights you literally fold up to put in your case, even if you've got a massive case like Darius Labanauskas, whereas the fixed ones, they'll usually sit fully formed like that. As Darius Labanauskas hits his third 180 of this contest to leave 81, and there's pressure on this for Jose de Sousa.
$90. Darius, you require 81.
Big exchange here. Now is a double-double, because it's 72.
He doesn't strike me as a double-double kind of guy, but is he? He's not. Double 12.
Games
Oh,
on the
lovely
air.
from Darius Labanauskas. Yeah, that's where it is, pal. That's where it is.
He's just given double 12 out.
Great shot. Made a mess, rescued
leg,
it.
Darius
12
to
darter to
first.
Darius
Game on.
Labanauskas to break back. 2 holds of throw for him, and he knocks out the top seed. He's averaging 96 here, Darius Labanauskas. He averaged 99, more than 99, against
95.
Mervyn King yesterday. He is playing very, very well this weekend in a tournament where even some of the big guns are not playing consistently brilliantly. We're seeing them struggle with the
59.
conditions. We are seeing them struggle with the cold. I know that Gerwin Price is just going to average 106, 107 there, or whatever it was in the end. But not everybody is finding this easy. Darius Labanauskas is finding a way to produce some good darts.
99.
He could be dangerous.
Don't forget that Gerwin Price is the ice man.
Touche.
100.
But this is very similar to yesterday for De Sousa. He's level after 8, and the best he can do is what he did yesterday by winning 6 legs to 4. And that's exactly what Labanauskas did to
100.
Mervyn King. So he will believe that he can do the same on the stage where he beat Mervyn King, because this is De Sousa's first visit here this weekend, and he hasn't looked comfortable.
140.
But that will do to get himself in this leg. But it's Labanauskas who's favourite from here at this point.
Well, 4 legs into this, Jose was 3-1 up and he'd hit 3 180s. He hasn't hit another one since. And he's lost 3 of these subsequent 4 legs. As Labanauskas has taken control,
99.
Jose's average has tumbled by a good 10-15 points.
On the main stage, Johnny Clayton has beaten Scott Mitchell by 6 legs to 0.
What did he average in the end?
87 and a half,
59.
but worryingly, Scott Mitchell
Darius,
only
you
averaged
require
75.
108.
For some reason, I think that Scott might have something on his mind. He was a bit emotional yesterday.
He was, well, he was crawling around the stage like a dog after his victory. Double 16.
Games
Yeah,
on the
Darius
9th leg.
Labanauskas is a leg
Darius
away
Jose
from
to
knocking the
first.
top seed,
Game on.
Jose de Sousa, out of this tournament.
I think there'd be a lot of players
57.
around this place and a lot of fans here at Minehead and watching at home on PDC TV thinking, surely there's no way that Labanauskas has beaten De Sousa. But you look at the grey areas of the last 6 to 8 weeks,
58.
there are definite possibilities. And I'm not saying that because now Labanauskas is 5-4 up, but De Sousa has not been infallible over the last couple of months.
140.
He's not playing at the same level as the times he's won 4 Players' Championships this year.
Right, look, if you're slightly off your game, Darius Labanauskas will beat you. Can beat you, certainly, but a lot of the time he will. He's just so steady.
101.
Now, Sousa has usually been on his game when he's played Darius. In fact, every single time they've played since they got on the tour at the start of 2019, Sousa has beaten him. That is 6 times. The only time Darius has won is when he beat him in Q School at the start of 2019. But he's beaten him 3 times this year, and he's always averaged mid to
80.
high 90s, or in one case 103.
164.
Looks like we're going the distance again, Dan. We already have on 4
94.
occasions this afternoon. Looks like we're going to get a 5th game. So more than half going the distance, getting your money's worth for Saturday afternoon. The only way that doesn't happen is that Labanauskas finds 6 darts from 178 and De Sousa has a nightmare on doubles.
Double eights.
Game
We
shot
are
the 10th
going
leg.
the distance.
Jose
The
De
top seed,
Sousa.
Jose De Sousa, forces Darius Labanauskas to serve it out.
11th and deciding
5-5.
leg, Darius to throw first. Game on.
Almost surprised not to see George Noble refereeing this one.
Well, Vincent van der Voort, Ryan Searle, Daryl Gurney, Luke Humphreys all came through last leg deciders. Gurney and Ryan Searle had to
140.
survive match darts. Incredibly, Ryan Searle survived 4. Daryl Gurney survived 10 against Michael Smith.
$85.
Yeah, I wouldn't have spoken to Michael Smith for a few minutes after that match.
No.
I would have left him alone for a little while.
Yes, he's lately become something of an expert in snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
100.
Typically steady from Labanauskas, 140 ton. Forcing De Sousa to be just as good, if not better. Not really sure how he got that in. Oh, that
140.
one. That's magic.
15 points between them in the last leg decider. You are not going to ruffle Darius Labanauskas.
No, he doesn't like that flight being in the way, but he doesn't want to go down to the 17s yet. But look at that precision. Now we've got 17s.
97.
There's a man who knows his angles of how his darts behave with certain blockers. He is super intelligent. But this is bulldozing.
140.
That one would have made a
Darius, you
difference.
require
Often an extra 40
164.
points may not be that decisive, but in that case it looks decisive. Because it's the difference between Labanauskas maybe having to take this out, which he's not going to do, or getting a second visit.
92.
That's a good approach.
Jose, you require 136.
How good would this be to win it? Got to leave 51.
45.
Can't.
Darius, you
Advantage
require
Labanauskas.
72.
To beat the #1 seed, he is surely going to get 1 match start here. But he gets 1. It is at tops.
32.
Oh, and that one's way over the bar. That's in the
Jose,
Arctic
require
Circle.
91.
Wow. Darius Labanauskas in lack of composure, shocker. Is it double-double? 74. What's it to be, Jose? Double 16 for the match. What a shot, Jose De Sousa. pulling it out of the fire when Darius Labanauskas had already missed double top by about 3 feet. The top seed survives here in Minehead. Our 3rd player to survive a match start and come through the 2nd round action. It means that the Portuguese man of scores will take on Willie O'Connor in tonight's evening session. We don't know where the game's going to be staged yet, but we will be back from 7 o'clock for 4 third round games with 4 more on the main stage, and it will complete our quarter-final lineup. And the special one is still in the hunt for a 2nd major title. We'll catch you later. Go and watch the stuff on the main stage. You have our permission. The good stuff has stopped.